What if every thought in your head could be heard out loud? Not just the ones you choose, but the ones you hide. Today, we're exploring a terrifying question. What if thoughts could be read aloud? It didn't start with a bang. It started with a whisper, a hum, an echo that wasn't yours. It was a Tuesday morning. In a crowded coffee shop, a woman dropped her phone. As it shattered, a chorus of silent groans filled the air, audible only as a faint, collective sigh. People looked around confused. Was that a sound, a feeling? No one was sure. But it was the beginning. Within hours, the whispers grew louder. It was like a new layer of sound had been draped over the world. Walking down the street, you didn't just hear traffic and chatter. You heard the frantic mental checklist of a man late for a meeting, the private bitter resentment of a woman looking at a billboard, the secret daydream of a teenager staring out a bus window. The silent, internal monologues we all live with were suddenly public. At first, it was a novelty, a strange, global phenomenon. People laughed nervously, trying to control their thoughts, treating it like a game. "Don't think of a pink elephant" became a global joke, but the laughter died quickly. The first casualty was politeness, the little white lies we tell every day to keep society functioning were exposed. "I love your new haircut" was immediately followed by a clear, broadcasted thought, "That looks awful." A simple "How are you?" was met with an unfiltered stream of anxieties, fears, and genuine misery. The social fabric, woven with tiny, necessary deceptions, began to unravel. Then came the breakdown of intimacy. Imagine sitting across from your partner at dinner. You tell them you love them, and you do. But in that same second, your mind wanders to a missed deadline at work, an old flame you saw on the street, or the simple, selfish thought that you wish you were alone tonight. They hear it all. Every fleeting doubt, every flicker of boredom, every secret irritation. Love wasn't enough to shield anyone from the chaotic and censored reality of the human mind. Homes became battlegrounds of unspoken accusations made real. The silence that once offered comfort between two people now screamed with raw and filtered truth. Trust evaporated. How can you trust someone when you can hear their every conflicting impulse? The world got loud, so loud, cities became cacophonies of fear, judgment, and desire. People started wearing noise-canceling headphones, not to block out the world, but to block out each other's minds. But it didn't work. The thoughts weren't sound waves. They were something deeper, something inescapable. The constant noise was a form of psychological torture. Suicide rates skyrocketed. People couldn't live with the shame of their own minds being laid bare for the world to hear, nor could they stand the relentless noise of everyone else's. Mental health support became impossible. How can you help someone who can hear your every clinical thought, your every flicker of doubt about their recovery? Then came the chaos. Corporate espionage became as simple as walking into a rival's boardroom. Political scandals erupted by the hour. A world leader, standing at a podium, projecting an image of strength and calm, while his mind broadcasted raw fear and uncertainty to the entire world. Governments fell. Stock market, driven by emotion, collapsed into a vortex of panic. Power shifted. Those with the ability to quiet their minds, the Zen masters, the sociopaths, became the new kings. They could navigate the world with a clarity others had lost, manipulating the mental chaos around them. An eerie calm became the most terrifying weapon on earth. Society fractured. People fled the cities, seeking a silence that no longer existed. They formed small, isolated communities, trying to build new rules. Some tried radical honesty, embracing the unfiltered stream of consciousness. Those groups imploded in violence and paranoia. Others tried to enforce mental silence through strict meditation and discipline, punishing those whose thoughts were too loud or disruptive. They became cults of conformity. The very concept of an individual self began to erode. Without a private inner world, where did you end and everyone else begin? We were becoming a hive mind of raw and processed emotion. Humanity was on the brink of extinction, not from a virus or a meteor, but from a total loss of privacy. We had lost the sanctuary of our own minds, the one place where we could be messy, contradictory, and incomplete. The one place where we could figure things out before we had to say them out loud. We discovered that truth, and its purest, most absolute form, wasn't a virtue. It was a poison. Our inner worlds were never meant to be perfectly curated gardens. They are chaotic, wild forests. And they need to be. Then, as slowly as it began, it started to fade. The whispers receded. The hum quieted. One morning, the world woke up to a profound, deafening silence. The thoughts were gone. People stood in the streets, weeping, not with joy, but with the haunting memory of what they had heard, what they had thought. The world could never go back. We had seen behind the curtain, into the minds of our neighbors, our friends, our lovers, and ourselves. The silence that returned wasn't peaceful. It was heavy. It was the silence of a world that now knew what everyone was capable of thinking. Your thoughts were never meant to be heard. They were meant to be felt, understood, and forgiven. If the world could hear everything you think, would you still recognize yourself? What would you do? Let me know in the comments. And for more stories that explore the deep questions of our world, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's next.